Dang, this thing is freaking huge. Hey there, RC Girl here. Today we're taking a first look at the 1/10 scale Rochobby Mashigan. This is going to be a two-part video. In this first video, we're gonna do an unboxing, an in-depth look. I'll share my early upgrades, including a full MyTrickRC light kit and a Bluetooth sound system from Scale Audio Solutions. This is going to be segmented into chapters so you can easily skip around the video. In part 2, we do a trail run. I take it out to my local park. I hiked it about 2 miles. We did a full rundown, so take a look at that. I'll put a link to that up here and also in the description box below. Everything I mentioned in this video will be linked down below as well, so make sure to check it out. All right, let's unbox this. Hey guys, today we're taking a look at the 1/10 scale Mashigan. The heck is a Mashigan? Hopefully the rig is cooler than the name. It looks like it is. I think this was also potentially leaked like 6 months ago, or maybe it was for sale in Europe. I'm not too sure. There was a post on RC groups and I saw some of the photos, but a lot of the links were taken down. So I don't know if it was just never released, but this is the official release in the US. Looks kind of cool. Looks like our doors open, our back window and the back tailgate. Looks like there's a spare tire. I'm also seeing that this says Michigan on the license plate, so I'm wondering if that's like just a lost in translation Mashigan. I don't know. Not a whole ton of information on the box, but it does show the dimensions here. So this is going to be a 339mm wheelbase rig. So this is actually quite a big 1/10 scale option. And here it is next to an SCX 10.3 and a TRX 4. So a little bit longer wheelbase. I think it looks good on the wall rack. This is an almost ready to run rig, so it doesn't come with any batteries or charger. You're also gonna need to get transmitter AAA batteries, 4 of those, but it does come with a receiver, transmitter, and all the electronics. So yeah, I'm excited to open this up. Let's check it out. Rochobby rigs are kind of known for coming with a really nice carry case, little carry handle. There we go. This thing is freaking awesome. I'm stoked already. All right, what do we got here? This looks like it's the back spare tire. And I got some pretty nice packaging here. This looks like one of the seats. This looks like another seat. Got a little foam thing here, holding it in nicely. Looks like maybe you can put a LiPo battery in there. This thing looks awesome. So satisfying. This appears to be a mid-80s, 90s YJ Jeep Wrangler hardbody. It does look true to scale and size. The proportions look really nice. I mean, I don't even know where to start, but basically, look how cool this is. That opens. Looks like there's a really nice scale interior. This even opens. So cool. Looks like, I don't know if there's lighting, but if not, I have some MyTrickRC lights that we can definitely put in here. Our little side mirrors here actually have a, you can see my camera, a mirror finish. And they're somewhat of a bendy plastic. These tend to come off, but they actually pivot nicely. Our doors open too. We're gonna have to put our seats in, but you can see the interior has a lot in there to detail for folks that want to detail. Our little shifter, our brake, knobs on the dash. Does our wheel turn? I'm not too sure. It definitely turns when you move it, but I don't know if it's linked to a servo. We'll check that out. We got our back seats. They're kind of rubbery. Actually a really nice sort of satisfying finish. If you have seen the Rochobby Jimny, the 1/6 scale, they remind me of those seats. Overall, this body is like So detailed. Oops, I forgot one of those things. The doors close nicely, they latch nicely. Not magnetic, so there's a little tab here. And it sort of seats in there. Got some running boards here. These are part of the, looks like they're part of the body itself. Yep, integrated into the body. Room for some lighting right here. And we got the traditional 7-slot grill. This is not going to be a licensed body though, so just keep that in mind. We got our rectangular lights here. I think looks like there's some LEDs in there. Maybe our headlights have LEDs. We'll definitely check that out when we turn it on. We got our Michigan license plate, michigan.gov. This is a plastic front bumper here. Looks like there's also room here to attach some tow hooks. Looks like there is definitely room for a big winch here on the front. Gonna have to check out our options from RC 4-wheel drive. The hood even opens, revealing the 550 size 35 turn brushed motor from Rochobby. This is definitely going to be a larger can motor. And you can see our ESC here, standard ESC. This is 2 and 3S LiPo compatible. Comes with an XT60 connector. Here is our on and off switch. You're gonna put our battery slots in here. We'll have to check the sizing there. It looks a little small. I just noticed this. Space there to put your, nice. Hold the hood open. Cool. Actually, I had plastic ones before and I've snapped those off on accident, so really nice they include a metal one. Then we have our steering servo up here. It looks like it's actually a metal case on it. I couldn't really find any of the specs on the servo actually, so I can't really share too much about that, but hopefully it is a decent servo. We'll try that when we turn it on. Is that held by a magnet? I think it's just held by gravity. Let's take a look at our tires. These are 1.9 size tires. This looks like a Hyrax knockoff, a Proline Hyrax knockoff, but they feel really nice quality actually. I would say that these are a little bit stiffer compound and not super sticky when you squeeze it together. There's definitely foams in there. These are a metal beadlock, it feels like, so that's kind of cool. Looks like a really nice tire wheel combo other than being a knockoff. Oops, something fell off. Oh, there's a little metal washer. Looks like a little plastic hex and a little pin, and it's like a couple shims there as well. Plastic C-hubs. Here is the spare tire that comes included, and it looks like a standard hex. Looks like it is a true beadlock, so you can swap out tires pretty easily if you want to reuse these rims. I'm partial to a matte black finish, so I think this looks pretty cool. There is no tire specs on the sidewall or anything. It comes with a little screw and washer to attach this to the tailgate, which we're going to add that. Cool. Looks good. So I'm noticing to open the rear hatch with the spare tire on, you gotta kind of squeeze the tire down. Not a big deal. Here are the 2 front seats. Really nice to the touch, flexible rubber. It looks like there's 2 screws that hold it on, and it came with 4 screws here. Tiny, tiny screws. 2 holes there. So yeah, we'll have to install these. I don't know why they didn't come installed from the factory. Maybe it was sort of like a transport thing to hold the rig in place. All right, we got our seats in. It also came with these instrument panel stickers for the dash. For our axles, these are going to be straight axles, pretty beefy actually. They are plastic bodied, no portals. Here is the rear axle as well. Looking in our diff box, there were just 4 screws holding it on, pretty easy. So it actually looks like there's no grease in there whatsoever. These are going to be lock diffs, metal gears there. I do see some ball bearings in there as well. Really easy way to add some grease in there without getting super messy. Udder butter comes in a little syringe. It is waterproof grease. Opening up our front as well, looks like same thing, no grease there. We're gonna have to add grease to the front as well. Nice metal steering links as well. You can see our servo up there, unbranded. Looks like a plastic servo horn. Most of the hardware on here is hex, except for that one. It looks like it's Phillips head. So taking a look underneath the rig, we have a 4-link suspension here. These are also metal links. We got plastic drive shafts here, but some metal components here where they attach, which is kind of nice. I always forget the name of those. Metal skid. It says it comes with steel chassis rails as well. Taking a look at our suspension, these are going to be oil-filled shocks, so I guess not super true to scale. If you were looking at a mid-80s, mid-90s YJ, I think they came with leaf springs, but honestly, leaf springs aren't very good performers. They're pretty stiff, so this is going to give you a little bit more realistic body movement. Pretty nice suspension. Looks like decent flex. It's a pretty heavy rig, so you're going to get some realistic body movement there, which I really like. Yeah, I would say that's pretty good flex to me. And actually, I'm going to be selling these little jack stands soon, so stay tuned. I actually have a pretty big announcement I've been working on, curating some pretty cool products, so stay tuned. If you have 2 of them, you can actually use it as a display in addition to being functional, so kind of cool. Looks like one of our shocks actually is leaking oil. Maybe just the cap is loose, so we're gonna take that off and we'll check it out for sure and fix that. Yeah, it just looks like one of the caps here was loose. So we'll tighten that. So these are actually 65mm shocks, eye to eye. Kind of small shocks for the size of the rig. We might want to look into replacing these at some point. Yeah, and basically all the oil has drained out of this one. I think it's just this shock, so it might not have been tightened all the way. We're gonna add a little bit more. Don't know what shock weight was in there. I'm just gonna use what I have lying around. Pretty lightweight oil. Shock cup down here is actually part of the shock, so you can't remove that to take your spring off. You actually have to open up the top cap and take it off that way. So let's clean this up with a little alcohol, make sure it's not super greasy, and put this back on the rig. Another thing I want to add is these RC Girl license plates. These were made by Cryptic RC. They're nice aluminum license plates. I believe they're also reflective. We're just going to take off the Michigan ones and replace it with RC Girl California. Nice. Another thing I wanted to show you guys, I was hoping it would fit in here. This is a Bluetooth speaker from Scale Audio Solutions. He was featured in my Pearland by the Fire Part 1, where he was driving the 1/5 scale gas Mini Cooper. And he sent me one of these, so I'm so stoked. This thing is freaking amazing. It is a Bluetooth speaker. He 3D prints the cases. He has a lot of different designs, dimensions, can fit in truck beds. This is, I think, just the standard rectangular size. He can print your logo on them. And what they do is they just tap into your battery. So they connect directly to your battery. There's a splitter here, and you can connect to your phone via Bluetooth and play music. He also has a lot of different LED color options. So let's plug a battery in and I'll show you guys how it works. So cool, we can turn the volume up too. Very, very cool. Scale Audio Solutions, if you're interested. He does orders through his Facebook and his Instagram, so I'll put links to those in the description box below if you want to check them out. I have the RGB option where it slowly cycles through a lot of different colors. kind of fun. Definitely bring the party to the RC crawl. And then I was wondering where the transmitter was, but it's actually hidden below all the packaging in the very bottom here. It's a good looking transmitter. Can do one-handed driving. We got our steering trim, our throttle trim, our steering dual rate. You can reverse your steering, you can reverse your throttle. And then we have our 3rd channel here and our 4th channel here. It's a 4-channel receiver transmitter. And then we have our instructions pack. The most recognizable SUV in the world. It can climb the extremity. Looks like something is marked out here, taped over. I really want to know what's underneath that. But one thing that I did learn is that there's actually a beginner mode. From a power off position, press and hold the channel 4 button while turning the steering wheel completely counterclockwise as far as it can, and at the same time powering up the transmitter. So as far as battery sizes, you know, a traditional 4,000 or 5,000 hard pack, I believe is going to be a little bit too tight of a squeeze. You might be able to make it work, but it's pretty tight in there. It looks like our 2200 3S batteries are probably going to be at least the best option for me from what I have. Seat in there pretty nice and tight. Looks like it comes stock with the soft white or the yellowy white versions of the lights. I am going to want to add some amber running lights here on the side as well, and then some reverse lights here. So I have the perfect thing actually. The UF7R from MyTrickRC is going to be a great option for this rig. This is an updated version of the UF7 controller, so there's a lot of different modes, flashers, and different things. So these are all low power lighting ports. So those are going to be for like your 3 and your 5mm LEDs. And it also has this piggyback here, this red cable, that is a high power port. Whatever your ESC output is, 6 volts in this case, your higher powered lighting like your light bars and your rock lights, some of the wafer lights and strip lights that I featured in my Axial Capra video. And we're going to actually tap into the throttle port, and we're going to split the throttle signal, and that allows us to have reverse lights that are linked to our reversing on our transmitter. So very cool. For all of his lighting controllers, if you want to access the instructions to see what all the ports do, plug everything in correctly and all that, you can go to mytrickrc.com and type in the controller name and manual, and you'll pull up everything you need. All right, so we're in the middle of the install, but I have pretty much the rear lights here. These little lighting buckets here that are provided, but there's only one hole in them, sort of this like rectangular small hole. I had to use a body reamer to drill out a little hole for the top white one. And yeah, I think they're gonna look really nice. Another thing that MyTrickRC has is these lenses, these sort of light diffusers. So it kind of diffuses the light instead of being like rounded. Yeah. So I installed one of these into the red in the back. So the red light is going to diffuse. I have some low brightness ambers that are going to go on the side here in these lights. And then these are going to be our front running lights. All right, so it's the next day and I'm actually thinking of swapping out the headlights. The ones that it comes with are these like super yellowy ones. I don't want to go super modern, but MyTrickRC still has a soft white one that's a little less yellowy, a little nicer looking, and it'll integrate into the lighting controller. So it'll all the lights will be controlled by a single controller. And these lighting harnesses actually come out and you can take the lens off. And now that I'm in there, I'm also going to paint the inside of the lighting bucket with this silver paint so that we have a little bit more disbursement. So, ta-da! All right, there's how it looks. Pretty much assembled. I think that looks a lot better. You can see the lighting disbursement and also the difference in the colors. I think that looks great. Alrighty, I think we are ready to go run this thing tomorrow morning. The light kit is fully installed. It looks so freaking sick. So what I did is I swapped out the headlights, the stock ones for MyTrickRC headlights. We also have our lights here on the side. I also gave it a red underglow. Looks so cool. I added MyTrickRC light strips down here in a 3D printed housing. We got our RGB speaker system from Scale Audio Solutions in the back there, looking so cool. And then if we look on the rear, we got our tail lights and also linked to our transmitter, reverse lights. And when it runs, it has running lights and then brake lights. So the lights actually have 3 different settings. Whoa, shoot. And if we look under the hood here, I tried to organize the wiring as much as I could. We got our UF7 controller here, controlling all the lights. We got a receiver there using 3 of the 4 channels. We got our 2200 LiPo battery. We're ready to run this thing. We're gonna pack it up and take it out early on the trail tomorrow morning. If you guys want to check out the trail run, I will link that right here.